All right, let's go ahead and make it happen. A little bit of right rudder there. And we are in the air. Looks like it might be a bit of a bumpier trip down there to do the buzz job on TD's farming operation down in the shed area. Just going to take a quick trip of all the good things here in Albany. Got the beautiful Willamette River there on the right side. As tempting as it is to fly under one of those bridges there, I think that probably would be the end of my flying career. The new windshield works perfect. Very sturdy, and the wind does not roll over too much and cause a huge amount of turbulence. I am also able to have the helmet camera mounted on the side of the headset without any issues. Up to a place where I used to live here for a few years, actually more than a few years. There's Periwinkle Creek and a trail down there. It's a really fun place to ride bikes. Oil pressure looks good, about 45 pounds. Oil temperature is only about 150 right now. I've seen it get up to 180, but that's kind of a rarity. There is the South Albany High School. It used to be called the Rebels, but because of PC wokeism, it is now called the Red Hawks. Mennonite Village. That would be a great place to play music with my family if we can ever get everybody on the same schedule. And we are just about out of Albany. I love the lush green of whatever that crop is there on the left next to the ubiquitous grass seed or hay field. getting pretty bumpy out here. Would have been nice to do it earlier in the morning, but wind was starting to pick up a little bit, and there are quite a few of those thermal funnel cloud looking thingies that you see in the summertime, especially over plowed in dirt fields. I can already tell that I need to make some trim changes after latching the flopping center section down. At this point, I'm having to switch hands every 5 or 6 minutes, which I do not like because I have to take my left hand off the throttle in order to do that. I'll probably just remove the center section altogether. Just texted TD a moment ago saying we're 5 minutes out. He gave me a brief text, which I neglected to read while I was still on the ground, about where and how to find him. Bummer. Looks like my rear-facing GoPro just took a dump on me. I guess that's what I get for not putting an auxiliary battery on it. Just coming up on the little town of Shed. Very small, only about 1,200 people in the whole community, but very tight-knit. Alright, I see farm equipment just off to the left. I'm wondering if that's TD and his gang down there. They normally have a couple seed trucks and 3 or 4 combines along with the bank out wagon that TD operates. I have no idea why they call it a bank out wagon. Whatever. That's how they do things at Oak Park Farms. Pretty sure this is them. I think I can see TD standing up on top of the bank out wagon at this point with a cell phone in his hand. This ought to make a pretty good video when I get back on the ground if all the cameras function. For those of you who are still watching, the bank out wagon with TD driving it is that vehicle on the very corner of the field. Alright, let's see if I can get this bird down low enough without having to slow it down so much that this looks like a sissy halfway flyby. I know that our friend Ray used to do flybys in his Starduster at like 5 feet off the ground. It was insane, but super cool. Having to push a lot of forward stick right now because of that trim issue. There we go, I've got him in sight. You can see my shadow coming across the ground. That's pretty cool. Probably won't get much lower than this. I want to at least stay kind of safe. But this is a fun altitude, about 500 feet. There he is. Wonder why he's wearing a black shirt on a hot day. Alright, let's go ahead and get back in the game and get this show on the road. Still got about 15 or 20 minutes of flying to make it back home. Go ahead and bring her back up to something like pattern altitude, although it is quite entertaining down low. If something happened with my motor, that would be a bad day. One of the things I like so much about flying in Oregon is that during the summertime, anywhere in the country is a reasonable landing spot. It would be fun one day to take the Pietenpol and try and set her down on a grass strip, but I think I'll probably stick with landing at Albany or another paved strip for some time. If I keep those latches on the center section, I'll probably replace them with something that doesn't look like it came from Lowe's Home Improvement. Since the weather is very, very nice today and very calm, I definitely want to keep my eyes out for traffic in the pattern and traffic running north and south along the interstate. Don't know if y'all can hear that static. I'm having some trouble with my radio. It's kind of being a turd right now. Just crossing over Highway 99. And there's I-5. You can see a couple of those little thermal bumps down there. Every once in a while I'll hit one, and it throws this little airplane with a light wing loading for quite a bounce. I remember back in the day flying with my dad as a kid, probably 10 or 11 years old. Those thermals would go thousands of feet in the air. It's amazing. It looks like we are coming up on Highway 34, only about 5 miles south of the airport. Probably be a wise idea to call in and let people know where I am, because it is very, very, very busy. I just saw someone in a straight-tail Cessna going south about half a mile to the right. Maybe headed to Cresswell, Cottage Grove, one of those fun little strips. And now we're just kind of getting set up, figuring out how I want to enter the pattern. Probably going to cross over midfield and then enter the pattern for runway 34, since the wind is out of the north, and 34 is the runway that is generally used at Albany. This time I want to try and work on small corrections and making sure my patterns are at the right altitude and square and straight. like at least 2 other people in the pattern. They're in Cessnas, so they're going to be doing 70 to 75, I believe, in the pattern. Not too big of a speed difference. Looks like we're about at midfield. Go ahead. Initiate that turn. Albany area traffic. Experimental 41 Charlie Charlie is overflying the field at 1,200 feet. Entering the pattern for runway 34 Albany traffic. That's a pretty cool picture of the whole airport there. If the video turns out from my bottom camera, I just might pull a screenshot and have that guy printed off. As Dad used to say, the windsock was dead. It looked like somebody had shot it. I will count my blessings right now. Albany area traffic, 41 Charlie Charlie is turning left downwind for runway 34. Albany traffic, full stop. Albany traffic, I do not have the Cessna on crosswind for 34 in sight. Please advise. Alright, having to hold that 10 pounds or so of pressure on the stick is making this increasingly difficult to maintain that 65 miles per hour that I want in the pattern, and 55 on short final and over the numbers. Just take this one step at a time. Looking back over my shoulder, it looks like we're ready to turn. Let's do it. Albany traffic, 41 Charlie Charlie is turning left base for runway 34. Albany area traffic, full stop. Just a little bit higher than I'd like. Albany traffic, experimental 41 Charlie Charlie is turning final for runway 34, Albany traffic. Pretty crappy pattern, I'm a little bit high. Let's see what I can do. Let's get some power back and get her lined up here, Craig. Right over Home Depot. Get some left rudder, line the airplane up there. There you go. Check your airspeed one last time. We're at about 60, a little fast. Let's get that speed blood off. Remember, nice, small, gentle corrections, Craig. Let's get her done. Airplane feels a little bit sloshy when you get below about 60. This looks and feels okay. A little bit to the left there. Don't let her land. Don't let her land. Oh. I'll buy. That was actually pretty good. We'll see what the video says. Kind of loosey-goosey here on rollout. But at least the tail is facing the right direction. For the last few seconds there, you kind of have to let the force be with you. Alright. Albany area traffic, 41 Charlie Charlie is clear runway 34, Albany traffic. Sorry guys for being the slow guy in the pattern. That was awesome!